From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big day as the $1,400 third stimulus check undergoes a third wave being reported exclusively on this channel. This channel can exclusively report that a third wave of the $1,400 third stimulus check did start yesterday, Friday, and that today, Saturday, those deposits started to appear as pending status for viewers of this channel on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad Benefits, and Direct Express. I have all the big details as the third wave of stimulus checks are out. The question is, what day are they going to land? By direct deposit, by Direct Express, and also by mail check. Of all those details in a major breaking world exclusive report on this channel. Meantime, a standalone bill introduced for stimulus, reoccurring stimulus checks. And while it is a very good bill, it actually extends the stimulus checks a little bit longer than we've ever heard before. Of all the analysis in today's new video on Home LALATE. Elsewhere, new video from the White House talking about pay scales. Then, that video from the White House that got negatively received when asked about how you're going to pay for forced stimulus. New questions about B117, that's the variant, the London variant to the virus. And new questions to Dr. Walensky and Dr. Fauci and their answers to the questions. Meantime, big news from Amazon, Crypto Miami, and across the board. It's a big day as we look at the calendar and we wonder, is next Wednesday and next Friday the big days? The answer is yes. This is a major jaw-dropping exclusive as Noontime LALATE gets underway right now. Good morning, or good noon to you, or good afternoon, or good early evening, depending on which time zone you're in. It's noontime here in Los Angeles. It's about 11 o'clock, actually 10:59 right now here in Los Angeles. And the breaking news you're going to hear only on this channel. These are world exclusives, only delivered on this channel starting right now. Third wave of stimulus checks have gone out, and the delivery dates are next week. And all the details will be revealed in this video and continuing throughout the day. So thank you for joining me on Noontime LA. Having a good day? Are you? Crushing the weekend? Getting ready for some waves? You know, you may not be at the stadium, but let's do a wave. Wave, third wave. What's all these waves? It's making me a little seasick. Well, guess what? When there's a wave of moolah, you don't get sick, you get deliciousness. So if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. If you're not become a member, consider becoming a member. Let me get to the breaking details. And in this case, exclusive details. The exclusive details is a third wave of stimulus checks went out on Friday. This channel can now report. Last weekend, this channel had a series of exclusives on Saturday that were confirmed by Treasury the following Monday. Well, the exclusives I can tell you today are simply very similar. First, I can exclusively report to you that a series of stimulus checks did go out Friday in the third, what it can be sensibly called the third wave of $1,400 third stimulus checks. Third wave because the first one was the first week, the second wave was the second week, and now this is the third wave. The third week of stimulus checks went out yesterday. I can also exclusively report that viewers on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad Benefits, and Veterans Benefits have already gotten alerts that the deposits are going into their accounts on March 31st. In one case, I had one viewer said it's appearing the day after on April 1st. But I have gotten now a good handful of alerts that people have pending status of deposits of $1,400 stimulus checks that will be available on March 31st. Congratulations. Then I also have people getting alerts now that the mail checks will land next Friday. Now, understand, not land by Friday, but will be in your mailbox before Friday with an effective date of that check of Friday. A lot of exclusive details. And if you're watching this channel right now, watching this video, say, but I don't show and I don't have and I don't get, don't worry. This is you as well, potentially. I'll explain to you in a second what's going on. But boy, let's jump at that calendar. Let's jump at the calendar so we understand what's going on. So you understand how these waves have occurred. The first wave of stimulus checks by direct deposit were sent out on Friday, March 12th, with an effective date of St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. Now, what happened was when they went out on March 12th, I had some viewers on SSI and SSDI actually get the funds available to withdraw before the 17th. They included SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad recipients who are with Chime, Cash App, Bancorp, H&R Block, Blue, Green Emerald Card, and TurboTax. But going into the 17th, the 16th and the 15th, you remember what happened was the big bank said, yeah, we do have your funds, but we're not releasing them to the 17th because the effective date of the deposit, the direct deposit, 17th. We will release them on the 17th, and they did. They did. On the 17th, the following banks released funds to viewers' this channel: Citizens Bank, PNG, Bancorp, Chime, PayPal, NetSpend, Green Dot, People United Bank, U.S. Bank, PNC, Capital One Bank, Lake Michigan, Union Bank, MetaBank, Amex, Bluebird, Navy Federal, BBT, Wood Forest, Bank America, Chase, Wells Fargo, H&R Block, Green Emerald Card, and TurboTax, along with USAA. That was the 17th. Then the second wave of stimulus checks for direct deposit went out on the 19th. On the 20th, which was a week ago today, I told you that a second wave had started. Why? Because 4 events occurred. 1, people were getting alerts on their Direct Express account that a stimulus check is pending for the following Wednesday. These were the type of alerts people got a week ago today, that your Direct Express card has a funds of a $14 stimulus check available for next Wednesday, the 24th. They were also getting alerts from their big banks. Chase and Wells Fargo told viewers this channel that there was going to be a drop of stimulus checks on the 24th. Finally, they went to the IRS tool, and it showed that the stimulus checks were landing on the 24th. But the big events of the 20th were about this time, a little bit later in the day, maybe in about an hour from now, a week ago today, where the IRS tool updated itself. Suddenly, the IRS tool on the 20th, that Saturday, a week ago today, changed the results to go from no results to now a result, or from a result of the 17th to now a result of the 24th. Well, guess what that new result said? It said either a 24th of direct deposit or a mail check of the 26th. As I sit here right now, I have tens of thousands of viewers on a channel that does about 500,000 to 1 million views a day that still show a 26 mail check date on IRS's tool. But as of today, the 27th, they have yet to get it in the mail. More about that in a second. So what happened starting today and last night? What started happening today and last night were deposit alerts started to appear. And those deposit alerts are the following. First, viewers got alerts from Direct Express that there's a deposit pending for March 31st. They also got alert that it's pending for April 1st. And this is their stimulus check. They got alerts from their credit unions, from their banks, that there's a deposit of $14 pending for March 31st. They also got new updates on the irs.gov tool that there's a pending deposit for March 31st. And then they also got a new alert on the IRS tool that there's a pending mail check for April 2nd. Again, April 2nd is just a week after March 26th. Let's look at that date again. April 2nd, which if you look at the calendar, you count 1, 2 out, is right under the March 26th. Exactly 1 week later, after that March 26th date, it's April 2nd. This is huge, great news. How do you decipher the news and how do you apply the news to yourself right now? Understand, if you're at the IRS tool, if you're at Direct Express, if you're at your bank, if you're at any of these items and you show no information yet, don't worry because you are likely to be included in this group. Let me explain why. The deposits generally don't send out alerts before they appear. They just appear. Second, the tools tend to update themselves progressively throughout the day. So the IRS tool may not have updated itself for you just yet. Number 3, some of the banks don't send out alerts, but those that do, sometimes they send them out progressively. They send them out progressively throughout the day. I had one viewer between the last video and this video who just got alert. I had viewers this morning before I even went on air at 9 o'clock a.m. that had gotten alerts overnight. So different banks send different alerts at different times and throughout the day. So the day is young and the weekend is young, and you could still be getting alerts on Monday. So when is the deposit going to occur? And what should you know? And what are the likelihoods? And what will Treasury say on Monday? I have all those details coming up in a second. But a new video released from the White House minutes ago talks about the importance of keeping equal pay across the board. I'll have that video coming up in a second. Meantime, the shocking video from the White House again asked about, are you going to raise taxes for forced stimulus? But one of the things I want to touch on is the following. You and I know that we talk turkey here. We do not mince our words here. So if I say something's good, I say it's good. If something is not good, I say it's not good. And if I say something is not going to happen, I also say something's not going to happen. A new bill was introduced last week that is absolutely great news. It's great news, one, because it talks about stimulus checks. Anytime that someone talks about stimulus checks and a forced stimulus package, it's great news. Number 2, it's great news because it talks about reoccurring stimulus checks. Number 3, it's sort of good news because the number of the stimulus check mentioned is good. And it is on a monthly basis. The thing that I think is not going to happen is the way the bill is written. The bill calls for stimulus checks a year after the pandemic is over. Now, every bill can get modified, but understand this is a standalone bill introduced by 2 people. In the last 24 hours, I've seen some places, I'm not going to say who they are, but I've seen some places say, Democrats have introduced a new bill, they'll pay you a stimulus check every month. No. 2 people have introduced a bill. And the likelihood of a bill paying stimulus checks to the end of 2022 every single month is next to none. Now, the likelihood of stimulus checks to the end of this year is very, very high. That's great news. But is this bill ever going to, in this form, get to the finish line? No, it would have to get modified. The bill was introduced by this representative at the end of last week. And the bill's great news because it's called the ABC Act. And it starts really, really wonderfully. It calls for a $2,000 stimulus check the first month and $1,000 every month, which is actually a little bit lower than what most Democrats, over 100 Democrats in the House and Senate want. They want a stimulus check every month to the end of this year and presumably about $2,000 a month. Well, here's where the bill falls apart, though, is the second half of the sentence. That would continue for 1 year after the pandemic's over. That's not going to happen. I just can't even say it with a straight face. Yeah, we're just going to pay stimulus checks, to 2024 every single month. 2025 or 20. And when is the pandemic over? I mean, we're all having enough problems figuring out when this pandemic's over. I mean, when we talk about the forced stimulus and stimulus checks at the end of this year, that we understand that duration. But, a year after the pandemic, the pandemic's just not ending right anytime soon. So we're not paying stimulus checks to 2032. So God bless her for trying to keep this front page news. But is this bill going to have to get revised? Yes. But what I want you to understand is that this is not the Democrats' bill. And that's what some people are saying. The Democrats have a new bill. No. Two Democrats have introduced this bill. What's coming next week is the Democrats' bill, and that's the president's bill. And as you've heard me detail over the channel, the fourth stimulus package is going to get modified an enormous amount and has a long way to go until anyone supports it because there's a lot of big issues at it. That's what's happening next week. Let's cut back now to your $1,400 third stimulus check. So you go to the irs.gov tool, and it's 11 o'clock on the West Coast, which is 2 o'clock on the East Coast. And it shows no information. What should you think about it? Don't worry, because the tool could still show information. I've had a lot of viewers so far today that said, LALATE, it said no information. You told me to keep on watching, and now it shows information. What about Direct Express card? If it shows no information, then what? Guess what? Viewers said, you told me, LALATE, to be patient. You told me to keep on waiting, and it did appear, and it appeared. Thank you for keeping me positive and focused and motivated. It did appear for viewers as well. Now, what about the viewers who have dates in either the tool or the deposit, and that date has passed and you haven't gotten a stimulus check? Well, I have all those questions and answers coming up in just a second, but stay with me. Coming up right after this commercial break is a little bit about the community page, but I'll be answering all those twists and turns. And stay to the end because I have a lot of big surprises still happening in this big exclusive about the third wave of your stimulus check. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on this channel in just 30 minutes from now, in which I jump into the live chat and interact with you and see what the current status is for you across the board. Join me in just 15 minutes from now, actually 15 minutes from now, in which I jump into that live chat. But how are you? During the commercial break, I saw some viewers dropping comments that says, I don't have any alert, nothing pending. What does that mean? And other people interpreting no alert, no results as meaning they're not getting a stimulus check. Untrue. I'll be answering that right away. But first, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video and consider becoming a member. Let me get to the details. Let me get to that detail right off the bat. Over the first wave and over the second wave, people got stimulus checks, never having any alert. People in this sort of digital age love alerts, love things that tell them that there's something coming. And when it doesn't say something's coming, they presume there's something wrong or they're not getting it. Under first stimulus, I had tens of thousands of viewers get the stimulus check in the bank without ever having had an alert. Second, I had people get stimulus checks in the bank without having seen anything on the irs.gov tool. So what I want you to understand, and I can only say this so many times, is that if the irs.gov tool shows no result for you, and if you have not gotten an alert from Direct Express, your Chase, your B of A, your credit union, your big bank, your small bank, that does not mean you're not getting a stimulus check. That does not mean you're not getting a stimulus check on March 31st. That does not mean that no stimulus check is coming next week. It means much of nothing. Why? Because many of the times on the first and second wave of the third stimulus check, it just appears. Let me explain it even more simply. It is very rare for a bank to say, hi, today is Saturday. You have a pending deposit that'll be available next Wednesday. Most banks don't do that. In fact, if they did do it on a regular basis, it would cause turmoil because people would call up the bank and say, why is the funds being held for 4 days? And then banks would have to explain, well, in the case of this situation, the stimulus check has an effective date of March 31st. That's why we're not releasing it to March 31st. So most banks don't even show you a pending status. That's number one. Number two, under the first and second wave, people on under the second wave. Under the second wave, people on Direct Express got deposits having never gotten an alert from Direct Express. It just appeared there. Finally, people got checks in the mail and got checks by direct deposit with IRS tool never showing any results for them as well. So what I want you to understand is that the lack of notification does not mean that a stimulus check isn't coming. And ultimately, people sometimes interpret it that way, but it's not the situation. All right, let's cut back then to what's going on today, what started yesterday, and what is likely going to happen Wednesday and Thursday next week. First, a third wave of stimulus checks went out yesterday. Why do we know that? Because of the statement from the head of SSA. The head of SSA sent out a message yesterday, which you saw earlier on this channel on Morning to LA, that said that payments have now been issued. How many payments? Presumably, it is over 30 million. 30 million people had not gotten stimulus checks, so claimed the House of Representatives head of the House and Ways Committee, and that 30 million were unpaid. You and I, as viewers of this channel, believe that it's far more than 30 million, that it far more includes people other than just people on SSI. The information was provided, finally, on Thursday morning. On Friday, Administrator Saul said that the payments were made. That was the representation. So what is the official word yet from Treasury? Treasury has not given a word yet. That would likely come Monday. Why? Because last time, the second wave of stimulus checks went out on a Friday. I reported to you that they had gone out because we saw the activity from viewers, and that the following Monday, they appeared, the statement was released. Let's recap. A week ago today, on the 20th, I saw activity in people's accounts of $1,400 pending for March 24th. Of updates on the IRS tool showing pending mail for March 26. If you tune into Morning to LA today, you saw the thousands and tens of thousands of people that have that March 26 pending status. That appeared starting a week ago today on Saturday, March 20th. That day, I then reported, you know what? There's a second wave going out because we have all these new alerts. And on Monday, March 22nd, Treasury confirmed, yes, we had done a second wave last Friday. And said that of that wave, people on direct deposit, they're expecting direct deposit, a large may get it in the mail. March 24 came, and direct deposits occurred. Also, some mail checks showed up, but a lot did not. If you tune into Morning to LA today, we saw thousands of people who had that March 26 date in the IRS tool still showing no check in the mail. Now, it's only been it's less than a day late. It's currently, in the middle of the 27th today. But are those checks late, or is that date going to change? Here's what's going on. People are now reporting the tool to have changed, and instead of showing the 26th, it's showing April 2nd, a week later, for the mail check. What does that April 2nd mean? It does not mean you are getting the check on April 2nd. It does not mean the check is being mailed out on on April 2nd. It means that the effective date, the date in the corner of the check, the date the check is actually dated as, is April 2nd. So when would you get a check that is dated April 2nd? You would likely get it by April 2nd or 2 days earlier. So then why have people from the March 26th not gotten their check? This is the real big question. There's something happening in the processing of the checks that had that April 26th date that some viewers haven't gotten it on time. I've had some viewers from the 26 checks get them in the mail on the 23rd, nearly 3 days earlier, some on the 24th, but I have thousands who have yet to get it. So then what do we think about this coming week? And this is what you need to know. One, we need to watch and see if Monday is going to be the big day in which Treasury confirms a third wave of stimulus checks were sent out last Friday. Number two, we have to watch and see throughout the day, because the day is still young, whether that IRS tool updates itself. Next, we as a family have to watch the activity of people in the chat and see if they suddenly show changes anywhere. Those changes I've been getting by DM from viewers in which they say, you know what, it happened. Thank you for telling me to stay patient, it happened. I now show a direct deposit of March 31st. And finally, if you're one of those people who doesn't show any date change, doesn't show any date anywhere, stay patient, because you may be getting the direct deposit on March 31st and the mail check by April 2nd. More about that in a second and how to track that. But let me cut to a surprising video yesterday in which the White House was asked again, not just the first time, but I think this is the third time we've seen this line of questioning, where the White House was asked, how are you going to pay for the fourth stimulus by raising taxes? And again, the press secretary avoided answering the question. Let's see the comment. And while you watch the video, drop in the comments what you think to her response to the question. I'd love to see your answer.
And is pushing his team to take more rapid action. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, Jen. The president has said he wants bipartisan support, I think, for infrastructure package as well. Mm-hmm. Is that possible when Republicans are pretty adamant they don't want tax increases? In other words, how can you achieve bipartisan support for infrastructure if Republicans are drawing a hard line on taxes?
Well, first I would say, Peter, that I don't think most Republicans think that the United States, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, should be 13th in the world as it relates to infrastructure. You know, roads that are broken down, infrastructure that isn't working, a lack of access to broadband, that's not a Democratic issue. And the president is going to continue to make that case. Now, we don't know what the votes will be. We haven't proposed a package yet. And certainly what it will be tied to and the pay-fors will be a part of that discussion. But he certainly believes there's been a history of support for investing in infrastructure. He has had bipartisan meetings in the White House. He's worked with Democrats and Republicans on getting legislation, getting steps taken in the past. And he's hopeful that there's an agreement on that moving forward.
According to a series of news reports, her remarks are not particularly accurate. The president has considered how he's going to pay for the fourth stimulus package, and it involves, one, increasing inheritance tax. That's if someone dies in your family, you have to pay taxes on what you inherit, increasing the inheritance tax. Two, reportedly increasing the capital gains tax. Three, reportedly increasing the corporate tax rate. And four, increasing and adopting a wealth tax. And five, potentially getting rid of the filibuster. All these issues are causing strain among Democrats who universally do not agree upon these ideas. Meantime, her claim that the president has reached out to Republicans to pool them about the situation, also not particularly accurate. So we will see what's going to happen for this fourth stimulus package, the infrastructure bill, whether the president's going to find another way to fund the bill, which he certainly can, and ultimately whether that push among Democrats of reoccurring stimulus checks every month until the end of this year does work. Remember, there's letters from both the House and the Senate saying we're not going to support the bill unless you include those checks in there, which is separate and apart from even the issues she was asked in that video as well. Also making news overnight is a new video from the White House asked about the variant. I'll cover that in the next video since we're running a little bit long, but let me tell you the big update where we are right now. $1,400 third stimulus checks underwent a first wave where they dropped on St. Patrick's Day. But for some viewers, they landed before then, and those included viewers on SSI and SSDI. A second wave of stimulus checks landed on March 24th. They were confirmed by Treasury days earlier on the Monday. The 24th was a Wednesday. The confirmation was on the Monday before. The sending of the money was the Friday before. This channel's exclusive reporting that yesterday, Friday, a third wave of stimulus checks went out. And those third stimulus checks went out because I can report that viewers have already shown me new deposits, new alerts, or new IRS tool tracking results that show March 31st is a deposit date for them of a stimulus check. They also report that April 2nd, which is exactly 1 week after March 26th, will be their mail check date. Everything is lining up exactly as one would have expected. The first drop was the 17th, the second drop was the 24th, and the indication the viewers are now getting is the third drop is the 31st. The second drop of checks by mail was to be the 26th of March, and the new indication is April 2nd will be the third wave of mail checks to drop as well. So what you need to know going into the next video in which I jump into the live chat with you is to stay positive, stay focused, stay motivated, but also stay very alert because the tool can update itself today. Saturday is a day in which the tool updates itself. It did a big update last weekend, and boy, when it updated, you could hear the rumblings on this channel. It was bam, bam, update, update. It was just all over the place. Second, the tool may never update itself for you, but the stimulus check may still appear. Third, ultimately, you are the best source of information across the board. So in the next chat, I'm going to jump into the live chat and see what new data we have seen that have formulated itself since this morning. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Like this video. Let's try to do 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 likes. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and I'll see you in just a few minutes as Noontime LA continues.